Hi everyone, welcome to White Noise. My name is Robyn, and I am your host today. This is a very special White Noise. I think I say that literally every time, but they're all special to me. They're like my children, and I have 64 of them. But it is kind of a bit more special than usual, I'd say. We do have a feature tonight. He is quite literally a poet laureate, like currently in Ulster County, which is pretty awesome. He is the second poet laureate in the county to ever exist ever, I think. Actually, I know that. I literally wrote an article about it for the paper. So yeah, I was super excited when Mike expressed interest in featuring at White Noise, because it's just, we've been on each other's radars for a while, and I'm a big fan of his work. And after interviewing him for the newspapers I work for, I was just like, yeah, we need to do something like this together. And of course he was down, because he's great. And, he's a big supporter of the arts in Ulster County, and that's where we are, if you didn't know that. And also another thing we're celebrating, which, not to diminish, how cool Mike is, but, Greenkill has been here for 10 years now. We're at the 10-year mark, and we wanted to take this event to also celebrate this space, which has been so pivotal in personally my growth as a writer and creative person, and also so many other people I know. And it's all thanks to David, who is behind the camera every single time. I know he hates that I'm like, pointing him out right now. He's so humble, but he really does make this happen. He's giving me like sign of the cross. It's totally fine though. I accept it, and you know what? You can be, you can take it sometimes. This is a special day, and so many people here who have made this space what it is, and so grateful that all of you showed out and filled this cool room, which is like, yeah, it's just such a cool room. And David set all of this up. It's like really his vision, but the people on the stage bring it to life. And I think that's really what his message has been from day one, is just, having it be a peer-to-peer art space and making it for the people, as they say. And I think it's been super successful, and clearly people are still showing up to events, even though we all have like crazy busy lives or whatever. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I've missed one White Noise, except maybe I have missed like 2, but that's okay. Whatever. I think one time it was like my birthday, but that's enough talking. I could literally ramble on and on about how much I love this space. I mean, most of you who know me, or maybe don't know me, even know that this is just, it's one of those places that really has an effect on you. It's, everyone who I've brought here has told me how, welcomed and comfortable they felt in this space to just perform and, express themselves the way that they like. And I think that's super important in a community, especially a community like Kingston, which is so full of artists. And, to be even more broad, this county, which is even fuller of artists. That's maybe not a word, but whatever. And yeah, I'm so grateful to still be here like 3.5 years later doing this. Back when I started, my hair was very long, and now it's very not. So it's, you can really see how that progression has changed me. I've slowly just grown shorter and shorter. So without further ado, we're gonna welcome our featured performer to the stage, but not before I read his bio, because you know what? Why not? Like, he did send it to me. So, I should read it. Our featured poet for this month is Mike Jurkovic, 2025 Ulster County Poet Laureate. His poetry, prose, and music reviews have been published globally with little reportable income. That's very understandable. Full-length collections include Buckshot Reckoning, Mooncussers, AmericanMental, haiku collections, Monet's Bamboo, Blue Fan Whirring, President, and he's the president of Calling All Poets, which has been around for 26 years in the Hudson Valley, and Greenkill has been its home for several years. No longer, it's like all virtual now, but Greenkill has welcomed all of these people and spaces, and so just a little more background. A 2016 Pushcart nominee, CD reviewer at All About Jazz and lightwoodpress.com. That's awesome. He is the Monday 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. host of NuJazzXcursions, WKVR 91.3 FM Vassar College. He loves Emily most of all. Oh, I love that. That's my favorite part of the bio. Okay, yeah, I'm going to get off this damn stage. So without further ado, welcome Mike Jurkovic.
Here doing the live streams for 3 years during COVID and a couple of years after that. My hair was longer too. So you can see where that kind of heads out. Mediums and mystics and madmen all decked out in a wild dance around the pyre at the Cafe Adversity. Flim, flam, fraud, and failure have run out on their tab. And Barney, the old bailiff, he'll have another beer. Hey, 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 it's the Lord of Mentor Street sitting with the seer as another virgin liberal in a clashing suit and tie cries, "Silence is not poetry, it's the gag rule of the oppressed." A tyranny of minds, a kleptocracy of poets. Cross-dressed presidents crawl onto the stage. Applause resounds, rebounds, reverbs with life and fife and drum as liars lie to liars and the truth on ashes born. Rocked, mocked, skittled scorn. See, the king has tumbled, and if he asks you, tell him this. It's all a succession of steps and stumbles, mediums, mystics, madmen. Know the score. Don't give the parson half a chance when he's idling out the door. White beats, black stabs, brown kills, yellow man rapes, shoots, mother boiling baby. Senator screws page. Starlet makes millions portraying mother boiling baby. Bombs shatter innocence. Nation eats nation. Tonight the first lady buys a penis extension. A penis extension of all the goddamn things. Baby births baby in a garbage can crib. I'd rather die an idiot than a genius of their making. Let's see if I can do this right. Monday 6, Tuesday fatal, Wednesday 8, Thursday 9, the weekend 10, Monday 12, Tuesday 12, Wednesday 6, 13 Thursday, Friday 16, Saturday 24, 9 at Sunday school, college Monday, market Tuesday to mailman, Wednesday, Thursday, Main Street, Friday to mosque, Saturday to temple, Sunday Mormons, and Monday 10 more, double down Tuesday, double down Wednesday, 14 Thursday, 16 Friday, Saturday plenty, Sunday more, Monday thoughts, Tuesday prayers, Wednesday thoughts, Thursday prayers, nurses Friday, Saturdays tourists, Sunday, Easter Sunday, fireman Monday, blue plate Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday 10. We oohed and awed at the 64 World's Fair and the droids that would take away our work and give us more time with the kids. More time to smoke, to read and watch, to drink and fuck some more. Raw, metallic arms did the work of 50 men without unions and overtime. Hulking, huge brains sprayed pretty light and reasoned all our equations. The atom had no blowback. The wonderful world of chemistry was just one pill ahead. We marveled at modems and picture phones. Big oil gave us dinosaurs. The happy plastic family heartened us all. Different trips, same monkey. Disney ruled the air. Weather stations under the Arctic ice would correct the world's climate. The cities of the future had no ghetto that we could see. They were less sad and frantic than those to come. No one homeless, no one alone, jetpacks. Whoa. Space stations. Whoa. The deserts became farms where dark robots pick the fruit. The Mick was there, I saw him, amid the supercars, the Kennedys without Jack, for the darkness did just dawn. We oohed and ahed, zipping on the monorail, carrying our radiated nickels and dimes. Or were they pennies? I forgot all about the poor. We explored the mysteries of a woman's mind. Wisconsin cheese, 3D led to 4G, led to 5. They insist we don't need 6. We oohed and awed and became. Through our debris our children walk, barefoot and barrios burdened at birth. Cry the cold china, billboards in Harlem, East 138, I still call you home. Turn back the promise, the premise, the menace, East 138, I still call you home. Abandoned like babies, burnt and begotten over a river of peril, standing alone. At the crossroads, a beggar of jade and Jehovah, hustling for handouts from shadows long stilled. Spit out the devil, the demon, the donor, the monster, the baby, the shrill of the dead. Run the cold plasma over hordes of the faithful. East 138, I still call you home. Thank you. The roofer red knots, North America's most common subspecies, flies the equivalent of the moon and back in its lifetime. Now it faces extinction as we overharvest horseshoe crabs for the terminally corpulent. Tell me again how we are not to blame for everything dying on this planet. Please. Tell me again. It wasn't clear the first time. In any book of Manhattan dreams, shadows slant on Crooked Street. St. Peter loiters the cashier's cage. Your rifle's only as good as its scope. The hungry open fire, not wine. This is a new one. These other ones have come from books prior, but this is a new one. And this starts with, here's where that senior moment strikes. This one starts with a quote from Chekhov, of all people. Any idiot can face a crisis. It's day-to-day living that wears you out. And this is called True North. My memory is as short as my dick, and therein lies the rub. The graphs of collusion mislaid, flight paths reversed, switchbacks undone, faces like runways refashioned. I once could reel these off with aplomb, but no longer. No longer can I brook lesser men feuding for shelf life. The rubble of medication, the coin of the realm, the complicity lurid in all our hearts. No one honors utility. Festooned with hunches, I fuck up, I know. My God, who doesn't bear false witness? each day boasting, self-applauding a bellicose nation, unyielding, uneasy, each day children displaced at the border, huddling cold outside the fuck machine, the mechanics far afield. In case you asked, and I'm sure one of you will eventually ask me, I entertain myself by screaming into cul-de-sacs about infrastructure, stalemate, paralysis, subterfuge, and how we all like to sparkle when the king makes diamonds with his cum. Only here in shitholes like this do they steal catalytic converters from Meals on Wheels, roast 51 immigrants in an abandoned tractor trailer. Are you free to carry weapons but forced to carry violence to term? Only here are citizens so convinced of their own idiot exception that they can't take a fucking vaccine while cowering with their guns and gods. The oligarchs of food, fuel, and prophecy fuel false prophecy, gouge and gouge and gouge in pursuit of sucking congressmen who run afoul unfettered. Only here do others fear their skin, their children targets. Only here do we believe we are on the verge of great things, but nothing works. Not my dick, the elect, the vacuum, the wireless, the baby food, the underpaid medical staff, the car, the stove, the script, mass transit, dial tone, exchange rate, new app, old meat, sour milk. Only here would you need to write a poem like this. I wanted to rant this evening, so thanks, Robyn, for letting me rant. Imagine, like Mayans, we bear aloft a king, a feral brute rash with bile, his churlish memes the creed of legion. Imagine, like Mayans, we bear a king. This was actually a true story. It's a sad story because it was supposed to be a happy one. But Emily and I were in Amsterdam, and we decided we would go walk around the red light district. And it was raining, and we're having a drink somewhere in the red light, I don't remember where. And I got this message from a friend of mine, and this is what I had wanted to write a romantic poem about walking with my wife in the red light district, and this is what it turned into. And this is called Blood Street. It was raining on the red lights on Bloodstraat when I heard they found your remains 3,500 miles away in the woods in Massachusetts. We had only met maybe twice. Once during a radio interview for my book, which was new at the time, but not since. You liked my haiku, and I thanked you for that. Now they found your remains 3,500 miles from here, from back there, and it doesn't seem right. Perhaps, like so much, there should have been so much more. Refuge, shelter, understanding. And maybe the rain on the red lights will wash it all away, but I doubt things like forgiveness and mercy in a world like this. I'm going to try and pull this one off. I usually pull it off with a guitar player who's slashing behind me, but we'll see what happens here. Live long enough and the plot becomes apparent. This is the only way it could turn out. The fire-roasted eggplant flatbread is running late. The edible hasn't kicked in time for the movie. The wine lacks a certain weight, and the folks at the next table are ready to strangle each other. Live long enough, and life costs you an axle. Love hits the wall more often than not, and the rubberneking results in muscle sprain and hyphenated discs. The downward arc of history crashes on your lawn. Corporate names become your own. Surly asides become convention. Live long enough and people implore you to pray for them. Pray they be rid their cancer and conceit. And you do because maybe they know something you don't. That's short of the nuclear option, what else is there? Strafe Kingston? Torch Town Hall? Increase the Valium and Xanax? Live long enough and the choice becomes abuse or entertainment. Your dynamic points of interest dull. The sad becomes listless. Tariff and sanctions scintillate. You come to terms. Live long enough and you tire of doing this, that, this, that, this, that, every little fucking thing. But maybe that's how this shitstorm passes. In service to someone in need, to someone mistaken as foreign, to someone you saw as a stranger, a careening penitent inclined to believe. I came upon a man bruising himself with stones. The Orange King decrees it, he cries, the gravel cutting his skin, his blood pooling at the base of the foot of a wall. It's meant to keep us in, not them out, I told him, or I tried to tell him above his chanting. But his children soon joined in. And then his church. And then the pool hall. And then the union hall. And then his family. As the king's men stake their claim, we assemble at Potter's Field in colorful rags. But an army sharing selfies soon defeats itself. I've tried real hard to keep politics out of this, but I just can't. We either advance each day or we don't. And some of us will fall, and some will turn, and some will make it to the mountaintop. I got a couple more. This is a new one. I'm not too sure what it means, but it's called My Brimming Table. A carnivore of street accents approaches from the east on a horse from the west, selling me potions for app fatigue. A modest disorder of tendon and scholar, seeping like sepsis into the whole, dosage unknown. Barium and trace metals smudging the day with the same dull sense a calf endures en route to my brimming table. Calms all fidgety bones, he barks in a tone between human and non. Now more than ever, he begins, the workers of pestilence feel the heat of the world. The short-term lease has expired, and the galaxy, like a resonant bell, rings in my ears. The kerosene circus burns it all down. An explosion of packing peanuts ensures I'll check Caucasian on my donor form. You never know who lives next door till you need to plow their daughter, send their sons to fight your wars. All right, let's get nice for a moment. This is called The Whereabouts of Heaven. I was building a skyscraper when I ran out of sky and cozied up to the whereabouts of heaven. Above are false hosannas, way up in the clouds where no one speaks but everyone sings beautifully. Above the movement of money, gunfights and late-stage cancer, grade school body counts and shots per round. Up there, in the blue, beyond wonder, where tomorrow threatens no one, where angels woo the glade. I think there's two or three more. Yeah, two more. I probably should have repositioned those somewhere. Should have repositioned this one somewhere in the earlier part, but this is where it is. And this starts with a quote from Napoleon. What is history if not a fable agreed upon? If I should get caught in the crossfire before finishing this poem, will you poets out there in the audience dovetail our voices together? If I should bleed out before topping off, please keep the truth we carried into the war that threatens to silence the words we use to shorten the distance between us. I'm going to close with this one. I want to thank Robyn. Thank you, Robyn. David, for 10 years, man, thank you. How about a hand for David? I mean, honestly, would any of us be here if it wasn't for him? Come on. We'd be like howling in the street in a dead end or something. Woo! I wrote this one specifically for a dedication to Sojourner Truth a few weeks ago, but as I think about it more and more, maybe it's not just for Sojourner Truth. Maybe it's for all of us who see a brighter future, for all of us that, there's somebody in our lives that we want to move forward for, or maybe it was a cultural or historic figure like MLK or John Lennon, take a choice, Harriet Tubman, anyone. This is called Your North Star Still Stirs. Your North Star still stirs hearts to freedom, but our skies are hazy, barring light. Your North Star still stirs all souls to birthright, but our waters are foul, and some die trying. Your North Star still stirs a life without chains, without scars, but our leaders unpure. Your North Star still stirs the moon to reveal the passage, but her light has been touched by men. Your North Star still stirs the shadows of history looming, but our facts too often untrue. Your North Star still stirs a people's deliverance, a far ways off, but still within sight. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Mike. That was wonderful and incredible. And I'm kind of lost for words right now. Feel weird getting up on stage after that. Yeah, I think you said what so many of us have been thinking. And I don't really want to say anything more because I want to let your words speak for themselves. And I just really appreciate you coming out here. And it's been a pleasure to get to know you more through interviewing you and hearing you read here. And thanks again to David. Thanks for pointing that out too. It's just it's been a trip, but we're still here, and it's so lovely to see so many faces in the crowd that have been there since day one. And yeah, whatever. Let's just move on. Yeah, okay. We're moving on to the open mic list. How exciting. So we're gonna start with Sam Truitt, and each reader gets around 5 to 6 minutes. We have a lot of readers, so let's not, overstay our welcome. But if you do, I literally won't say anything. So welcome to the stage, Sam Truitt.
Hey, it's great to be here if I actually am. To be in your company, to be among you, and to be with David. So special. 10 years. No, it really is a blessing to have this space at this moment, but also historically over the last 10 years. Phenomenal. So I'm going to read from the book Os. It's divided into two parts. An American silo and an American salvo. This first part is called An American Silo, not salvo. And what I'm going to do is, as we always like to do, is to have a degree of spontaneity or chance. So I've got the book here on my coconut, and I'm going to do kind of like a slot machine Do 1, 2, 3. And we found ourselves here, moving through the open room, arranging emptiness. But we begin in a hole in our head, in silence, blowing in what's happening inside, a hole in what is said, to show the hole between two knots in artifacts. It's more than anything else. This cot we'd want to see blazoned on the faces of our culture as though one, or we had one, charter into the unknown, the pervasiveness of penology, abandoned on the outskirts of a commercial, walking to the corner store to cop a breath of Red Devil, as though there were one past a mental construct, anything there to hold together except love, us. Or there is an emerald green stubby tree a face pokes out the branches of, because we are wild, like the emancipated horses on the highway apron to breathe fumes and flowers and sky. And they are so conscious of how they look, a labyrinth of, and not necessarily in that order, a whole people, Puebla, in unanimity prepares for its resurrection, nor are there ads for anything in Cuba past a state made of army men, the only 3 or 4, a constant state of war, the avant-garde of a new incantation of a foe, past which is a good idea if it could just get funded. And people who want to try communism should do so on this slender, high-chested island in the stream, like an explorer peering into a compass dial on a ship made only of zeros. Lacanian tripartite topological structure of big other, poetry is forever to be in the place of, as we all should be able to go wherever we want, we belong, with just a trunk to our names, or names trunks we carry off, or call the coast of Yumalantis, even if a coffin-sized one, trying to hide what isn't there to find, or might be ready to. We may decorate and there conceal and reveal inside all we want to hide or show, like in Bolo Bolo, or stay, a thrive, what is alive the rest of our lives, which means in part unstable and out of jail, some involuntary, but most to varying degrees riding it, the fulcrum where it means one thing there and here another tips out, another lifetime like gunpowder, in the soil of which we grow a strange calm called gunpowder. Thank you, David.
Thanks. Nice to see you here. Always glad to have new faces perform. Next up is, God, I forgot already. Olivia, can you tell me? Teddy eggs? Egg?
Oh, sorry.
Wait, what is it? Engs. Teddy Engs. Welcome to the stage.
Hi there, I'm Teddy Engs. This is my first time here. What a lovely night to choose to come here. I'm going to read a very short story, if that's okay with everyone. It's called Miscarriage. The phone rang and the mommy answered it. She walked into the bathroom and leaned into the vanity. twisting the phone's cord around her wrist until her hand went pale. Her unclasped bra hung from her bony shoulders like a pair of sneakers from a telephone wire. She listened into the phone, she twisted the cord, she opened her mouth but said nothing. The home was a modern home, designed by the daddy, who was out of town, and the master bedroom led directly into the bathroom with no door or wall separating the spaces. Just inside the bedroom door stood the boy, recently 5 years old, who had come into the room to ask if he could use the computer to play backyard baseball, a computer game he had been given at his birthday party. The party was Aladdin-themed, his favorite movie, and the mommy had hand-built the Cave of Wonders in the tunnel leading up to it out of cardboard boxes in a camping tent, which the boy and his friends crawled through to find the genie's magic lamp. "Should I schedule that now?" the mommy said, rubbing at her stomach. The boy stood there watching her, sensing in his developing mind that something was wrong, but not knowing what or why exactly, and mostly wondering how long mommy would be on the phone because he needed the telephone line to access the internet. The mommy leaned into the vanity, bent over and bracing herself against it like she was trying to push it away. She leaned in deeper, and her shoulder blades popped up, loosing one of the bra's straps, which slid down her arm. Her body heaved. She breathed in quick little spurts. "Mommy," the boy said, and she shot upright, startled, and fixed the bra with one hand while holding the phone against her chest with the other. Her face was wet and heavy, and the boy had never seen his mommy like this before. His mommy was the tallest mommy he knew, and she was strong, stronger than Daddy even, and when she shook Father Brad's hand after Mass on Sunday mornings, she would look him directly in the eye and say, "Thank you, Father," and he, the boy, would do the same without having to be told. She had that kind of effect on him. She had that kind of effect on a lot of people. But this trembling woman standing in front of him now, who was this? What the boy was looking at was raw, unfiltered adult pain for the first time. It was a look he would later see on his daddy's face the morning the towers leaked that horrible black smoke and collapsed in on themselves like sandcastles. And again on Mr. Beckman's face when the rifle shots snapped and echoed across the campus courtyard. But this moment, with Mommy holding the phone and her face all wet and him standing by the door, this is the one he would later cite as his first real memory, a moment of terror and confusion and almost cruel serendipity between an unsuspecting mother and her little boy, a moment capable of launching somebody from one world into the next. The mommy wiped her eyes with the back of her hand and sort of shooed the boy away by flicking at him, like, get. "Mommy," the boy said again, but this time like a question. The mommy put the phone down. She went over to the boy and put her hands on his shoulders and let him out of the room. Then she shut the door and twisted the lock. When the boy turned 18, he would take a train across the country to Eugene, Oregon, a small hippie town that the mommy only knew from the Dolly Parton song, and he would notify her that he had landed a job on a farm and would be staying there. He would finally come home for Christmas when he was 22, and the mommy would find out that he worked on a marijuana farm, causing a 2-day fight, and then she wouldn't hear his voice for 3 years, until one night she was woken up by a call from the Lane County Jail. By the third call from the Lane County Jail, something in her would shift. She would post the bail, but after that she would stop being a mommy. She had had enough. She would tell this to the boy over the crackly phone, and she would keep her word, despite herself. And every once in a while, when she was loading the dishwasher or clipping her toenails or kneeling at Mass, she would be reminded of that time in the bathroom and her little boy by the door. She would remember how in her greatest moment of loss, the moment she learned of her unborn, lifeless daughter floating around in the sick fluids of her womb, the moment she needed her little boy the most and he needed her, she would remember how she shooed him away, flicking her hand at him like a bee buzzing at the back of a sweaty neck, and would wonder if his entire life was contained in that one mindless act. Thank you.
Thanks, Teddy. Sorry I forgot your name immediately. Can we give another round of applause? Because, that was really personal. I don't know if it was, but it sounded personal, and it was really beautiful. So thank you for sharing. Next up is Peter Myers. Welcome to the stage.
This is my first time also, and I'm deeply self-conscious seeing like all of the cameras and monitors and all of your faces. So I'd like to play you a song that I wrote about having a body, but it's inspired by a poem by the poet Jane Hirschfield. So I'd like to recite it for you if I can, to give something that helped change the way that I view my body. So the poem is called My Skeleton, and it goes something like, "My skeleton, you who once ached with your own growing larger, are now each year imperceptibly smaller, lighter, absorbed by your own concentration. When I danced, you danced. When you broke, I. And so it was, sitting, walking, climbing the stairs, your jaws, my bread. Someday you, what is left of you, will be flensed of this marriage. Angular wrist bones arthritis, cracked harp of rib cage, twin platters of pelvis, open bowl of the skull. Each of you will leave me behind, at last serene. What did I know of your days, your nights? I who held you all my life inside my hands and thought they were empty. You who held me all my life inside your hands, as a new mother holds her own unblanketed child, not thinking at all. This is called Mitochondria. When you don't, when you don't love your body, what do you mean by you? Just the thinker behind all those thoughts. And are you really sure that's true? What about the you who's breathing without needing to be told? And what about the heart that's beating before you're born until you're old? You are the you who grows your hair. You are the osteoclast performing skeleton repairs. The mitochondria inside your own cells. You are the powerhouse, no matter what the voices tell you so. Love yourself, let them go. And hello, my skeleton. And hello, my old bones. How we broke and how we danced. You held me up, you watched me grow. And hello, my belly, center of my donut hole. You took in the world around me. You nourished me and made me whole. Well, you are not an image. You are a process. You are all of the ancestors, love and birth and life and death. You are the you who grows your hair. You are food, water, and sunlight and air. 30 trillion little cells. You are the universe perceiving herself. So love yourself, 'cause you are whole. Thank you. That feels like it's probably 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter. Whoa. Thank you so much, Peter. That was wonderful, and you are so talented, and your retention makes me want to cry because I have none of it. It's like, yeah, one of those things where I'm like, I've always wanted to memorize a poem, but yeah, I mean, I've never really tried, so maybe one day though. Yeah, a friend of mine told me that if you just repeat your poem to yourself 3 times a day for 3 weeks, you'll remember it. But I only got to like 2 weeks and then I gave up. Yeah, well, you know, that's just life. Next up is Frank Moshman. Oh, God, I'm so sorry. Moshman. That's what I thought it was. I just didn't want to misquote. Welcome to the stage, Frank Moshman.
If I take the mic and hold it. That's okay. No, I'll stay here. That's fine. Yeah, no problem.
Probably better this than I am.
Let me try to move this back. So tomorrow I am celebrating 2 anniversaries. First, it'll be 27 years with Trixie. Thank you. Thank you. Though I might get a standing ovulation. And 10 years when I first started doing stand-up comedy. Thank you. Now, I haven't figured out how Trixie feels about this, but I still carry around a picture of my ex. What do you think, a picture of my ex? Next time I'll show you my triple X. But artificial intelligence has gotten into the triple X business. I was at one of those stores in Greenwich Village, and I could not believe they programmed a blow-up doll to fake an erection. So when they say, Frank, what did you see in Trixie? Well, she's attractive, she's sweet, she has a sense of humor. When they say, Trixie, what did you see in Frank? I'm not sure, but I should be very nearsighted. In fact, we met before, we met the phone personals, before internet dating, before app dating. So we never exchanged photos. I really didn't quite know what she looked like. So I had a backup plan. If I didn't think she was attractive, I would have said, "Are you Janet?" I was at work. Everybody asks, "What keeps you up at night?" First person goes computer failures. Second person goes deadlines. They got to me and I said, Viagra. Okay, don't get me started with Viagra. Viagra's expensive. It'd be much cheaper if I was single. I can pay women to pretend they're having a good time. I went to the doctor, and he said, "Frank, if you take Viagra, you'll have an erection on demand." I said, "Doctor, at my age, there's no demand for my erection." And Trixie, she only used it as a coat hanger. In fact, the only time she'll scream in bed is when the Wi-Fi signal goes out. In fact, the other day, Trixie was screaming, "Yes, yes, don't stop. My neighbors knew I was doing the dishes." Trixie loves role-playing in bed. Her favorite role is sleeping woman. And the last time we made love, she was carrying in her hand, I thought it was a telephone, but it was a life alert button. She just loves the sound of the words, "Help! He collapsed on top of me and won't get up." Now, I hate to admit this, but before Viagra, if I made love, I'd also hit the life alert button. It's true. "Help! I've fallen and I can't get it up." Now, before I met Trixie, I did terrible at pickup lines. I said to a woman, "I'm a famous chess player." "Really?" "Yes. I'm looking to meet a woman to make some moves on." Heck, at my age, I do far better at chess than I do at women. It's easier to get mated. I also noticed a lot of women in their 20s and 30s smile at me, and I'm realistic. I have two chances with them, slim and none. So I was shocked. I was in Costa Rica, and all these young girls were flirting with me. Maybe they thought I could help them get a green card. Maybe they thought I was a sugar daddy. But they were disappointed. I opened up my wallet, and they found out I'm just a high fructose corn syrup daddy. Anyway, I want to politely turn these women down. So I asked my Google translator, how would you tell a woman, "Sorry, I'm not available" in Spanish? So all these women that are approaching me, I would say, "Lo siento, no estoy excitado." And they all started running away. Suddenly one woman comes up to me and says, "Frank, you're telling all the women, sorry, I'm not sexually aroused, and I'm Miss Costa Rica." I guess I never did that well with talk and text. In fact, I once texted my ex-boss. I told him, I have a photographic memory. You know when it came out? I have a pornographic memory. Well, as I said, ex-boss, I did get laid off from my job last year, which is okay for two reasons. One, the job sucked. And second, at least I can say, I got laid. Now, finally, before I met Trixie, I've had nothing but psychotic ex-girlfriends. You would think when I place a personal ad, I might meet a woman close to what I'm looking for. Single male, enjoys music, dining, comedy. Seeks a woman who is honest, with similar interests for a possible long-term relationship. Does that sound straightforward? I don't know what's gone wrong, but when I look at the women I met in the personals before Trixie, the ad seems to say something totally different. Single male, enjoys alcoholism, kickboxing, doing the Macarena, seeks a liar, a kleptomaniac for failed relationship, and thinks actually like that one of my psychotic exes until it ended kind of abruptly. I gave her a ring, and she gave me the finger. Thank you very much. Now, Thank you. I just want to say I do have a YouTube channel, Frank Moshman Comedy. And of course, this is all comedy. Trixie's a great woman. And I hope we get to 27 more years if I make it to 89. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks for coming. I love the name Trixie. That may be like my favorite name ever. Yeah, that was really funny. And it reminded me of an ad that was sent to the newspaper I work for recently with this guy said he was looking for a woman aged 49 to 89. And we said, we're not publishing that. I'm sorry. Also pretty sure it was a scam. He said he would only pay by like cash, like mail order cash. We're like, what? Yeah, that's not how this works. So I hope that wasn't you. Sorry. But next up is Kimber Truitt. Welcome to the stage.
Hey, can you hear me? Okay, this is called Point Blank. Heartache is at the end of a long dirt road. It might be gravel for its narrowness and brokenness, but it isn't beyond the hand-painted sign protected by Smith & Wesson. Over a small old wooden bridge, 2 strips of planks for the wheels and a handrail over which a stream of Budweiser beer bottles and camels over a field of Indian paintbrushes and burnt grass into a cul-de-sac. A heron swallows a fish it poked dead with short jabs to its side. On the ground, quote, "You mean raw?" It was a mistake to leave the boat stranded, the water bottles on the side of the bridge making it impossible. I can see them a full 30 minutes before arrival, but that means they are going the wrong way. If I can see them when they arrive, because that's the way to where I am now. That's the end of that one. I'm going to do one more, if I can find it real quick, that I don't remember. Like, these are old poems, and I do a lot of collage, so I don't know where all this material came from. I'm going to read it anyway. All of America is island, a ground of granite, which means the water level will have to rise up, like Manhattan, downstream, because at the eve of which is tidal, because all America asphalt, over the earth, to be American is dandelion, myth pools but is pushed away by alternate street parking. Thank you.
Thanks. I just have to say that I am in love with you because you're wearing Vivienne Westwood and she's my favorite designer. And I'm wearing socks of hers too. So yeah, just always got to shout that out because anyone who loves Vivienne has my heart. I literally named my cat after her and he's a boy. Didn't know that when I adopted him though. Let me just say that. Next up is Tim Brennan. Welcome.
Thanks. All right. These are 3 recent poems, 3 short recent poems. A fact pulled from the ground she walks on and barely audible. A range of possibilities with time frozen and sense laid aside. These working hours we take for granted, the body moving, then pausing to stop and think through another invisible obstacle. If you stand here and watch cows graze the grass to its roots without raising a sweat and the sweetness underneath it all, The future relies on much to come. Sights and sounds we gathered on the green. Most knew one another's contours by counting. Each step over the fire pit's smoky predictions drew us closer, sketched in ink, the plowed fields, moistened lips, a challenge and an architectural nightmare, on loan from the artist out of town. Don't inquire as to where these questions refuse to go. Slowly, one step at a time, evolution unfolds a surprise. Recently captured, well-intentioned artifacts, combined ingredients ready to distribute. The poor and sick fed in the conditional tense. The farm thus loses its meaning in truck-like undulations. Prelapsarian causes are discovered all over the place. An exam and aced with panache. Wild canaries fill the sky at dusk, less angry than hungry. A question turns to this shrouded schoolroom. Fires rage up the north side of each conjecture, forcing us to flee a non-objective impulse. Since Rome was coming up short, which future republic resembles the best of a Weasley beast? Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. That was lovely, as always. Next up is Angela. Welcome to the stage.
I think so. Okay. Sound good out there? Okay. Hi. A very happy 10 years to Greenkill. Yay! 10 is a big number, and this is a very nostalgic time of year for me. I moved down here 10 years ago, and I think, thanks. I think beginning a change of season between summer and fall always kind of puts me in that nostalgia headspace, certainly now at this 10-year mark as well. So I'm gonna play something I wrote 10 years ago that has a lot of that, I guess, post-grad melodrama that I was feeling at the time, but I still really like this one. It's called Take It Easy on Me.
If I show you make it easy on me. Don't you wanna try? Let it go for me. Put on a show for me. I wanna hold you so much I could die. I can't bring myself to look into your eyes. I won't let myself be another empty prize. And so I hide behind the words inside. God knows I've been hurt. It'd be no surprise. So take it easy on me. Make it easy on me. Don't you wanna try? Let it go for me. Put on a show for me. I wanna hold you so much I could die. But what do I know? What do I know about the things that scare me? What do I know about love? What do I know? Take it easy on me. Make it easy on me. Why don't you wanna try? Let it go for me. Put on a show for me. I wanna hold you so much I could die. I could die. I could die. Thanks, y'all. All right, I'm just gonna play one more. So this is something more recent that actually wrote as part of a songwriting group I was in. But yeah, I just want to say that after coming here to White Noise for so long, it's probably been like a year or two, but yeah, I'm just so constantly inspired by all of the creators that come up here on stage, and especially having a space that is so word focused has really inspired me to change the way that I look at my own writing, my songwriting. So I'm infinitely grateful to all of the writers that come up here and the readers that share what they create. And especially as a musician, to be welcomed into that space, I really appreciate that. Yeah. I think this one doesn't have a title, I'm not sure.
Unclench the jaw of the mouth that speaks softly. Release the claw in the back of the poor tortured soul. It's not funny, but no one is laughing. Search the whole world for the right words to say, but why say a thing when no one wants to hear it anyway? It's so silly, such foolish mistakes. Oh, but try patience. Forever if it takes. Blood red, warm blush, the fire in the face, the let down, the cop out, the fall from grace. Run away, it's so heavy. The weight of hello. Oh, but try patience. It worked a long time ago. Practice conversations alone till the air leaves the room like a limp balloon. Maybe sometime the first try will be the only try. Maybe soon. But try patience. Have patience. Sound tumbles out, then the feeling arrives. What happens next always seems to be a surprise. It's a pity. Just tear out the page. Oh, but try patience. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Angela. Oh, hi. Thank you, Angela, and thank you for those lovely words. It's been such a pleasure to get to know you at White Noise over the years, and I feel like you really are one of the OGs. Yeah, it's so great that, you know, we have certain people who have been coming literally for years here, and still new people all the time, and that's why I keep coming back, because it's so exciting. I'm like, who's going to be here today? You know, you never know. You truly never know. Like, who's that walking in right now? But yeah, sorry, I got distracted. My boss always tells me I have really bad ADD brain, and I'm like, what? No, I don't. And I'm like immediately like, what was I doing? Yeah. Oh, hey, Philip. So without further ado, welcome Joanne Pagano-Weber reading both her and Bruce.
true. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Robyn. And like everyone here, I just have such appreciation for David and what he's done. It's been so special. And I've been coming since, I think, almost the very beginning, because I think I was in the second show. It was a group show. So it's been really from early on. And I remember the minute I walked in this space and met David, I remember I just felt a kind of aura of goodness and generosity. I said, oh God, this is like The Office, let's do this. I know I want to be here. And we've been here ever since. So anyway, I just want to say, first I'm going to read one of Bruce's poems, and I want to express what Bruce told me to, which is, just how much he loves and respects David, and so sorry he's not here tonight. He's just under the weather, so he really wanted to be here. So without further ado, I'm going to take an inspiration from Sam Truitt and let Chance Operations choose this poem, because he gave me a few. So I'm going to go to Bolo Bolo. I love that, wherever that is. And find one. I'm just going to go in the bag and go, what? Which one? I don't know what it's going to be. I'll just pick one out of there. Here, let's see. Okay. By Bruce Weber, my husband, and it's called You're Vulnerable. You're vulnerable. A provocateur on dark nights behind the iron curtain with barely a shirt on. Tender as the blossoming flowers in a hard-as-nails rain, or strapped to a bulletproof vest in a tumultuous wind, sure to topple the apple cart. You take things too rough, like a bad scrape of chalk, sabotaging the hearing-challenged girl standing at the blackboard minding her P's and Q's. You're soft around the edges, so you float on a cloud out to sea and drop ominously into the ocean without a raft to rescue you from the circle of sharks laughing and telling off-colored jokes at the border of rhyme and reason. You're a sad testimony to the way things work in a shoddy corporation, hiding behind a litany of Peter-principled failures without a top covering the screaming kettle. Here's a dangling rope for you to tie around your waist, pulling you out of tangles with misplaced modifiers and fraudulent misfits feeding coal into backfiring engines. Here's to your escape from idiots running the asylum into rack and ruin and obliteration as you duck, as you crawl, as you slither. It's Bruce Weber. Okay, so I'm going to read part of a story. Most of you guys have heard parts of this story, and just to orient you, and it's just a goofy part, and I haven't been able to find this for ages, so I'm glad I came upon it again. Just feels like the right thing right now when we just need to just kind of chill. And so anyway, just to give you a little orientation, the characters, the narrator is this young woman. The story is about this young woman who's an artist model. She's modeling for a guy who's really on the brink of fame. And the night before the occurrences here, she had this surprise to everyone concerned, fling with the son of her boss, the great artist. And he figures out what the two of them did in his studio. And he doesn't even know why he's so pissed and possessive, but to take it out on them, he decided not to let them use the car he was going to let them use to go to this party they were invited to. And so she decides she's going to take matters into her own hands and hitchhike. And the young man with whom she had sex the night before, with whom she does not consider her boyfriend, quote unquote, or anything like that. She's too independent for that. He just wants to protect her, right? So that's the scenario. So here they are. They already had a couple of rides, and he decides he's going to try to call home. She's like, forget that. So she's got her thumb out. Suit yourself, I said as he turned to go. He must have thought this tactic would manipulate me, but it made me dig my heels in deeper. When he was 50 or so feet behind me, a car pulled up with a woman in the driver's seat, and on the passenger side, a male companion. They could have been an aunt and uncle of mine, aside from her in the driver's seat. Transplanted from Belmar, purely on the basis of their hair. Hers was coiffed and frosted to a color which she most never had herself. What remained of his was slicked over his balding pate. I glanced for an instant down the road at Dante's back and said to the man, I'd appreciate a ride over the bridge or as far as Dutchess County if you're heading that way. And by the way, she doesn't know from the Catskills. She's up there modeling for him in his country place, right? So she has no idea where Dutchess County is or anything. And she's on our side of the Catskills right now. So she wants to go over the bridge. So the driver says, where about? Near the border, I said, not to betray my ignorance. But I realized that I sounded secretive or vague. Well, hop in. You look like a nice girl. Me and Augie like company, don't we, Augie? Sure. Thank you. I've met such nice people today. You've been on the road for a while? This is now Marge speaking. You've been on the road for a while? No, but today it was a necessity. Understood. This was going peacefully enough. I pulled the door shut, feeling the exhilaration of independence, when Dante's crotch appeared in the window, and no sooner he leaned in. Sure you want to go through with this, Veronica? Hey, what are you doing? He's my friend. He was heading back, but I guess he changed his mind, decided to join us. We don't want any trouble, said the woman. I don't mean to cause trouble, said Dante. Oh, no, he's no trouble. He's just acting like my big brother. Dante leans in. Pardon me, ma'am. I didn't mean to be rude. I rolled my eyes as Dante poured on the charm, giving our driver a subtle but honeyed glance. If you don't mind another passenger, I'd like to come along. Wow, there's nothing I like more than a gentleman. What the hell is this, a church social? He can come if he chips in for the gas, said Augie. He turned to us with a brow furrowed with anxiety that had an unfortunately comic effect. I'd like to get to New York before midnight, if that's okay with you folks, so let's keep the chit-chat to a minimum. I get nervous when my wife don't focus on her driving. Step on it already, Marge. Marge lowered a deadpan glare at her husband. As she pulled the car away with a screech off the shoulder, we in the rear did all we could to keep from laughing. We sat quietly for a few minutes. He better be early. Oh, no, wait. He better be early, said Augie. He better be early, said Augie, staring straight through the windshield. Don't worry. You're always worrying. That's because I got what to worry about. I know you do, sweetheart. I didn't mean it that way. What way'd you mean it? I just can't wait to get back. A few days without concrete and I start to get itchy. You know what I was thinking? Later on, I'll make you a nice macaroni and cheese casserole and we'll open a bottle of wine and what are you, crazy? Oh, come on, Augie. It'll be like the old days when we stay up late all night and celebrate. Hey, let's just get what we gotta do done. Then we'll both be lucky if you don't fall asleep behind the wheel. Well, we could stop at Moogie's. Moogie's. I don't even want him knowing we're in town. As if he won't know. How would he know? You've been talking to my sister again. What? No. So help me God, Marge. Uh-oh, Augie. Do you think that cop back there is following us? We all turned to look. A little red sherry was flashing in the distance. Dante rolled down the windshield and flicked out a joint. We eyed each other warily. I began to see the future of our afternoon with a premonition of not-so-rosy lights. Let's not take chances, said Augie. Get out at this exit and maybe we can lose him. Oh, Augie, I don't want it to look so obvious. I wasn't even going that fast. If we just drive along calmly, they'll probably pass us. Do it, he added. I knew we shouldn't have got that car from Sam. Bad luck every time. But what choice did we have? You can let us out here, said Dante in his habitually imperious tone. You'll sit there and shut up, said Augie, and then to Marge he added, You satisfied now, Mother Teresa? Now that you're here for the ride, you're going to not be a pain in the ass, you're going to make yourselves useful. I'm sorry you kids got mixed up in this, said Marge, her voice starting to quiver. Focus, damn it to hell, they're right behind us. Just drive along, play dumb. Marge clutched the wheel with whitened knuckles, staring straight ahead until the police guard drove up alongside us, blaring its siren. Finally, Marge pulled over. Let me do the talking, said Augie. You two, what's your names? We told them. Holy shit, who the hell has a name like Dante? The state trooper was a well-built man of average height with a calm demeanor, the military type, Officer Clark. Is there a problem, officer? Said Augie, smiling. You were going 62 miles an hour in a 50-mile-an-hour zone. License and registration, please. Marge handed it over and looked at Augie. The trooper checked the numbers and asked for Augie's ID. Do you own this vehicle? And I'll stop there. Thank you, folks. Thank you, Robyn, and thank you again, David.
Thanks, Joanne. That really brought me back to my roots in on the Jersey Shore. I was literally in Belmar like last weekend, so that was so funny to me. I was like, you have to be kidding me, because like that literally could have been my aunt. Yeah, that was awesome, and you're such a good performer. Oh my God. Okay, next up is Gary Siegel. Welcome.
Hello. Yeah, it's been great for me being here at the Green Kill, and David here has been such a partner and enthusiastic supporter of new creative ideas besides just reading poems, not just reading poems, but other things. And many people have referred to it as being a really safe place to try something out. Felt safe. All right. Am I the last? No, okay. You ready? That's the wrong. I get the wrong poems. Oh no. Here we go. Done a lot of small haiku-ish stuff lately because I haven't been writing, and it's sort of my way finding back in. This one's called Veils. Tears seep through veils. Tiny nymphs peer out from within them. Who lives in rain? Who lives in sky? This one is less than a haiku. Curtains roll back, pulsing night sky infinite. And this one is shamanic, or you won't get it. My kayak can glide on anything. Water, I laugh. This one's a little more than a haiku. My days like berries, picked one by one, whether sour, whether bitter, whether sweet. And dog barks, owner distressed, hair pulled out once again. Okay, thanks. And here's one that's a bit older. It's called Balance. The egg of the world lies perched on a big rock. Its balance is perfect. The winds are gentle. And everyone you know lives in there, peacefully or not. Sometimes we rock that boat, fighting as we do for the more and the mine. Seems the suit wearers, the double talkers are becoming ever more psychopathic, ever more graceful as they smile with their teeth in your face. But there is no longer any truth in this egg of ours. Just what I say, just that I say it. And when an egg falls upon rock and splatters, there is no cry. The ants will come, and the birds. The earth will take the rest. After a time, all is gone. And who is there to remember? And who to forget? And eggs, after all, are beautiful. And they have thin, fragile shells. And one to finish. Maybe some of you have even heard this one. Little dog. Little dog. Little dog smart. Little dog at odds with his body. His instincts tell him in his bones he is a predator, but strange old meddling by big-brained apes have driven his body into rodent size. Kafka would be proud.
Thanks, Gary. Another OG, real OG, like from before this event, kind of. And that brings me to our next performer, who is not only a personal favorite of mine, but also one of my best friends in the whole wide world, who is the reason that really the reason why I do what I do today. And I never give them enough credit, but they are such an inspiration to me, and I am totally indebted to them and all they have done for my poetry since I was a little fledgling poet, coming to Greenkill as literally an 18-year-old, strung out on drugs, and everyone here accepted me like I was like one of their own, and I never felt that kind of compassion in my life before, and I may never again. And that's okay with me, because now I can give that to everyone else who comes here. It's that gift that keeps on giving. So without further ado, welcome Noah David Roberts.
Do I need to bend down? How we doing, Greenkill? Doing good? Yeah. I can bend down. It's all good. Fantastic to be here. Fantastic to be here always. It hasn't been too long since I've been here this time, but it still has been a minute. Robyn, the introduction made me want to cry. Like, seriously, you are an inspiration. You have become that to me also. So, like, symbiotic, creative relationships going on. I also want to say David is truly a visionary, I would say. And the work you're doing of archiving all these performers, I think, is absolutely priceless. And I was doing voices here with you kind of from the get-go, back however long ago, 10 years, right? And yeah, I don't know, it's just been awesome to see this place really become what it has and kind of continue in the way that, David set it off. And yeah, I was originally going to do 2 poems, but I think reading 2 poems is going to weaken the second poem I'm going to read, so I'm just going to read the second poem. And I'm going to dedicate this one to you, David. Yeah. It's called What I Owe, I Owe, I Owe, I Owe, I Owe. To all that comes before me and all that does or does not come after, to time now or during, to the silence not yet here, the silence that came before, to the present and to the room. To so many names swallowed through time to pinpoint the beginning of this echoed notation. To adolescence and even to the men who raised me who fucked it up but still did their best. To my mother, to the eggs within my mother in the womb of my grandmother, pregnant at the age of 16. To the lineage that brings about the inevitable scattered nature of the way things tend to go. And to myself and any utterance of some pithy, shameful, silent salvation, I owe it to every speckle of dust on the hairpin of your aging shoulder. I owe it all to some kid wearing his sister's clothes. I owe it all to those 90-mile trips through forest, Allagash River, denying the nature within me to the nature that breathes before us. I am the nature that breathes before us. I owe it all to the air that allows this breath. I owe it all the ability to smile and forget. I owe it to the places and the landscape breathing. I owe it to Philadelphia for not killing me when it had the chance. I owe it to the funerals that taught me not to speak. Owe it to anyone who has the ability to die. I owe it to the ability to die. I owe it to those who are younger than me and have not, and I owe it to those older than me who have not, and I owe it also to those who are dead or martyred all around us. I owe it to who cut the trail before me and those who water behind. I owe it to all who have survived and been killed in epidemics, pandemics, disease, and mistreatment. I owe it all to the buckled martyrs, their histories bombed to oblivion, relentless, the empire's fist, we see it all the time. I owe it all. I owe it to the bloodied bodies left pacing outside, owe it to the lives lost in the name of liberation, owe it to martyrs massacred at breakfast. I owe everything to everything to everything else, owe it to the schools that taught me, though they have shut down, to the elders that raised me, though they have died, to the family that surrounds me, to the family I have created here in this very place just by speaking to you. I owe it all to the poets, owe it all to the idiots, the false prophets, the egoistic fortune tellers, and every other freak whose life's work is to comment on something and say, I think I have something to say about that. I owe it all to the townies, the reckless, the deniers, the scoundrels, the empty, the brave, and the bored. I owe it to the reigning, the wept, and the bold. Owe it to the lopsided, the lingering, the drunk, and the scaffold holding up my body. Owe it to friends, to strangers, to enemies, to allies. I owe it to the skulking remainders, the door jam structures, the jaded monoliths, escapaded for wary brands of witness. Owe it to typographical errors and trip-ups and slipping diction and marionette players and piano hustlers and fiddlers in the night below me. Owe it to monologues and discussions and doodles and cigarettes, to skeletoned moods and brief sensualities. Owe it to the drugs, of course. Owe it to the mind. I owe it not to those who think, but owe to those who don't. And I owe it to shooting first and thinking about it later. I owe it to righteous deniers of their faith, their very own medicine. I owe it to the righteous deniers of their very own machine. I owe every thought, each etching anybody ever drew that became the swoop of a hand-carved word. I owe it to every word, every syllable, every letter and pause in breath, every punctuation, every accent, every petrified consonant and vowel or glyph that can form to field visibly the letters I too can love. I owe it to the rhythm of the music that came before us, owe it to the barbarous within, owe it to the rhythm of the heartbeat. I count the rhythm of the universe and tell time in my own image. I owe it all to the heartbeat of the universe, telling time in my squalor. I owe it all to the fighters and those too impaired to join in. I owe it all to the lipstick that marks my neckline during the war, to the marks that smear my temple against the wall. I owe it to the image, lipstick smeared, self panting, owing it to this audience, to this moment, owing it all until I have entered the engine where all thought breathes and cannot hear a sound until the gasping comes from your throat. I am grateful that I am here. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, I owe it all to you too. Thanks, Noah, and thanks, David. I don't know if I have enough emotion in me to cry, but I'm there. Next up is Philip Levine. Welcome.
Yeah, it's hard to think about changing direction, Noah. So I almost was going to bring up but I'm going to go with what I first thought. First of all, I'm sorry I'm late. I was at a rehearsal. I wanted to be here. I wanted to acknowledge David. You've done such a wonderful service, and it's been great to be involved from pretty early on, and hope to continue. I know I'm not a frequenter, but I'm semi. And Robyn, thank you. You're running a great series. As soon as you make it at a regular time, I might come on a regular basis. I'm just kidding. No, it's great. Haiku, nice work, Gary. I like the collection. Here's a haiku. Here's a lame one, but at least it has the right number of shit. So many of you know I do cards randomly. So here's some random, here's one. I knew Madonna before she was a virgin. It's true, I did. Not very well, but if I had to do it all over again, I'd really complain. Let's see. Meeting new people is like arriving in the middle of a movie, but you're allowed to talk. If I had a nickel for every nickel I've had, I'd be even. So the dating game here. Seeking partner who will overlook my neediness, desperation, banality, shallowness, transparency, pettiness, smallness, and overall mediocrity, and accept me for what I truly am. I'll share that with those of you on, Tinder. They say you can't take it with you, but if you die in debt, haven't you taken it with you? I've never been self-contained. I've never had a self-container. You can't do everything. What would everybody else do? Let me see. Theater buffs here? Waiting with Godot, the sequel. Life in the disabled lane. Isn't it odd how certain things taken out of context, can mean almost anything, like no or yes. No, yes. I feel more like I do now than I ever did before. Do you remember smokers, Marlboro Miles? I collect Marlboro Miles. I'm saving up for the lung machine. Suicide note from a smoker. I got tired of it taking so long. I'm not well-rounded. I'm eroded. I'm not ordinary. I'm extraordinary. Let's see. This one, actually, I think my daughter came up with this one. Or maybe, no. She came up with thunder and lightning when she was like 3. Thunder and lightning make a very good team. If this is lightning and this is thunder, how far away am I? That look you gave me, how much does it cost? Let's see. What was one recently? I don't think of hurting myself, but I have been thinking about having an accident. That wasn't a monologue. You just weren't listening. Let's see. Either I misread her signals or she miswrote them. What do you think, David? Should I end with that? I used to run an open mic. It was a weekly open mic. Every Monday, Robyn. Every Monday. There was a couple of missed Mondays. Who was Joanne was sort of Mike was there a fair amount. Gary, did you ever come to the Colony open mics? Well, I didn't. When I left, it ended. But the Monday night open mic that I ran, it was 8 years, every Monday. I missed one that when it fell on like New Year's Eve or something like that. But probably over the course of the 8 years, so that's 400 and something. Anyway, I described it as a labor of labor. Okay. Thanks very much. Good to see you, David.
Thanks, Philip. I had something to say and I totally forgot. This is my thing. This is why I have horrible retention. I think of something and then I walk 2 feet and then I forget. Yeah. Well, you made me laugh. There you go. Oh, okay, here. This is what I was going to say. Philip is the only person who holds me accountable for just being a host. And I really respect that. Yeah. No, not the only one. I'm the only one who really holds me accountable. Also, before when I said I have a friend who told me if I repeat a poem 3 times a day for 3 weeks, then I'll remember it. That was Philip. And I never did it still. I will one day. And that brings me to my reading. I like to go last because if anyone wants to leave, I'd rather they leave before I go. Because, everyone else who has come all the way from who knows where, I think they matter a bit more. That's what I tell myself. And it's been such a wonderful night. I'm so glad that no one left. That's very rare. Usually people have better things to do, and I totally get that. But now you got to listen to me. Sorry. Okay, these are all recent ones. I've been in a bit of a poetic slump, but somehow. This is called Nothing or Not Much. I ask myself, what will I achieve today? Well, I woke up and clenched my abs real tight, tossed the cat a few treats and sucked on bread, fumbled with the phone which clinked and crashed about, vacuumed every nook and cranny, even the bathtub, thought for a moment, then decided to not. Thought again, why do I avoid all these thoughts? Then decided to not. I stomped around in large slippers and played footsie with myself, looked at my abs in the mirror, imagined a difference, boiled some water, forgot about it, boiled it again, we'll forget about it again, read some poetry, which was a mistake, for here I am, writing a poem full of nothings. Thanks. Thank you. This next one is called Your Temperature. Your temperature is a bag I reach for, hiding weighty vestments of sun-streaked carelessness, a wet patch of futility. I have a chronic illness. The mother in me is forever becoming, and she resembles nothing like the woman who birthed me besides all the anxiety. I could never be as selfless, though iron-fisted, as she. I am merely soft-boned and breathe heavy. The lens I peer through strains my eyelids. I squint and quiver, holding my breath as I shift towards the right spot. A flash of light. I feign indifference, talk beyond my years and for not enough ears. Your temperature is rising. You're laid up in bed catching something, and it's got some weight to it. You're weak and can't handle it. It slips, it's slipping, it slipped. What are you gonna do now? Piles and piles of it littering the ground. Thanks. Thank you. This next one has two words in the first line that are very hard to pronounce, so bear with me. Your terroir. Your terroir is lascivious, yet arid. Textured like grain fallen on steamy ground, siloed into convectionized complacency. This is but a fleeting feeling, your soft, undefined features pressing down without touching me. For there is no connection a body like mine can handle that a body like yours can deliver. So I falter. Twirl my hair in cylindrical patterns and trace letters on the pad of my finger, grazing these sensory tips on anything just to get a feeling I can place, something that won't react. Though you are all blood and bone, you hold your head as high as pride can rightfully conceive. All I ask for is deliverance in a cup of strong, dark coffee, or in the longest drag from a cigarette that rests between these padded paper lips. I scratch. You are like mouse and I the trap. If only my bite was harder than a feather-tipped pinprick, maybe then there'd be some clarity. Standing unsteady, waiting for the glass to break beneath me, falling, until I wake up in bed and realize the nightmare is over. It was just a bad dream, and though the landscape was alluring and lined with cypress trees, fields as far as the eye can see, I knew that the end would be startling and abrupt, just as it began, on a stoop wondering what if the light above flickered off, leaving us speechless and without direction? Would we still find our way home? Yes, though we'd have to feel our way through the dense brush of these flesh cavities to see that even without vision we can see as clear as candlelit daydreams. This is where we were born and where we must remain, glue-lined antiques shivering into resistance of what is apparent, a sheet of linen. Quiet those eyes, sunburned and squinted. Call to Mama and tell her it's all right. Karma's coming for him. She's an angel waiting for her bell to chime, and it was 9:15 when you uttered that unholy line. We were never meant to be mutual. Thanks. Thank you. And I have one more. It's not super long. And I wrote it yesterday after something really horrible happened. And yeah, I'm just going to read it and you'll get it. It's called Jasmine. And I don't know about you poets out there, but like, you know, when something bad happens to you, like, do you just like write a poem about it? Because I do. I just like left work and was like, I'm going to write a poem now. And my boss was like, what? She was like genuinely scared. It's called Jasmine. I heard the thud of her body before I knew her name. Jasmine. I imagine her salvation hours after I witnessed her perish on the street. We never asked to bear witness, yet somehow we were meant to. I don't believe it was accidental that she ran into traffic unknowing of the possibilities. I watched as she spun in circles, chasing a pain that could not be seen. She was small but sturdy, a mixed breed. She spun in circles and then collapsed, and all was over. There wasn't a moment we saw her stop breathing, but we knew she was dead. She lay down and never rose again. We all just stood there watching, waiting for something to happen. This is what happens when we bear witness to that which we cannot comprehend. The police take an hour to arrive, even though we are in the middle of town. A ticket may have been issued, but by then the owner is long gone. Only the tears of one woman was shed. I couldn't even muster them. All was too abrupt, too impossibly sudden. They wrapped her in a sweatshirt and tossed her body in the back of a pickup. It drove away, and all returned to as it once was. Thanks. Yeah. I didn't really think about ending on such a sad note, but, you know, I think that she's in a better place. And it's just, I don't know. When it's an animal, it kind of hits harder, you know? But enough of that. Thank you guys for coming and for listening. It's been such an incredible night. Yeah, I don't know if we've ever had this many readers here before. We've had this many audience members, actually many more, but not this many readers. You know, people are reluctant to read and perform, but I think it's such a privilege when people feel so comfortable and open to do that. And I think that's why Greenkill is what it is, because you all came here because you knew that you would feel comfortable, and you performed and you received applause and you listened attentively, and that's what this is all about. Thank you, Mike, again. You were wonderful, and you are wonderful. I can't wait to see what the rest of the year brings you as our county's Poet Laureate. It's such a privilege that we have this as a county. A lot of counties are still pretty far behind on that somehow. And yeah, thanks again, David, for everything, from literally the bottom of my tiny heart. And yeah, I love you all, and have a great night. White Noise signing off.